Hi, welcome back. In 495 AD, about an isolated mountain range called Song in north-central China's Henan province along the southern bank of the Yellow River grew one of the oldest and most famous style of Kung Fu, or otherwise the Shaolin Wushu. A structure was erected here, and they called it the Shaolin Temple. The Kung Fu, which is essentially a combination of martial arts and Chan philosophy, then developed in the temple and spread in the Greater China during the 1500-year history. Shaolin Kung Fu then became a brand, so that popular sayings in Chinese folklore related to this practice include all martial arts under heaven originated from Shaolin, and Shaolin Kung Fu is the best under heaven, indicating the influence of Shaolin Kung Fu among martial arts. Welcome to my channel. This is Victor, the author of the File Soldier series of novels. In this episode, you'll find out that Julia Elise, Dr. John Taylor's girlfriend, from whom he disappeared just after graduation at Harvard Medical School, has been learning martial arts for a while now. She's been attending classes in Chan philosophy, so the most probable style of martial arts she's been learning all this time would be the Shaolin Kung Fu. But what does this ancient style of Wushu entail? Now, initially, Kung Fu was really only an elite art practiced by those with power. But due to occupation by the Japanese, French, and the British, the Chinese began to encourage martial arts experts to open their doors and teach masses in an effort to expel foreign invaders. Bullets came into the equation, and this idea perished almost immediately. Kung Fu essentially entails full contact, semi-contact, and light contact hardness to defeat oneself against attackers. Now, the kids program in Shaolin is based on 5 animal Kung Fu, that is the dragon, the tiger, the crane, the leopard, and the snake, which helps in developing neuromuscular coordination, speed, power, timing, and precision skills. Monks have to be accepted in Shaolin Temple, and they must start training at age 3 or 4. That is 3 or 4 years. There is no age limit for general acceptance into the Wushu though, but kids under 13 years old must be accompanied by an adult. Now, those who decide to be monks aren't allowed to get married nor have children. They leave their family forever and get new families in the monastery. On a regular schedule, one would expect to have the basics down in about 6 months to 1 year. Now, by this time, you will have the essentials like posture, form, and basic motions down to second nature. Proficiency level Kung Fu will take about 3 to 5 years. Now, portions of it can be utilized immediately for health and fitness, and some aspects of self-defense can be available to the students within 1 to 2 years. Now, to become a master in many of the systems of Kung Fu, it takes a lifetime. And this oftentimes results to various forms of injuries. And in fact, in this episode, Julia Elise, Dr. John Taylor's girlfriend, is just about to see an occupational therapist for an injury she sustains during one of her Kung Fu training classes. She can't get hold of John by cell, so she appears absolutely distraught and confused. Stick around. There is always a story to tell. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to proceed from where I left in the previous episode. But before I go on, you realize that the subject of this series is what we call the X-Files Secret Chain. So in an attempt to explain what the X-Files Secret Chain, I beg your pardon, I'm going to read a part of an email that I read in the previous episode, that is episode number 25, so you can get the specifics of this Mission G Prof that Mr. John Taylor and Dr. Wilhelm Gutenberg are about to carry out. So the X-Files are classified documents containing detailed scientific explanations by right of their direct connection to defining a weapon that has been verified to have both biological, complex theories of physics as well as mathematical elements in it. Now allow me to impress. This weapon was designed in 1990 by some Englishman, Professor Harley Davidson, who was gunned down on his way to a science conference in the United Kingdom, where he had been expecting to furnish the world with an abstract to his new discovery in a lecture. So that brief reading explains what really the X-Files entails. So I'm going to proceed from the point where I left in episode number 25. Impressed by his quest, that is the fifth computer science student, who John Taylor, and decided to enroll into Mission G-Prof, that is Mr. Boniface Spock. Impressed by his quest, I ventured to design the schematics of 3 gadgets onto which he to try his program. The Z culture had nicknamed him Thunderstorm. What kind of name is that? Anyway. Funny, right? What that meant, I can't tell exactly. All that I can recall was that a game called Whack-A-Mole was a favorite with Thunderstorm and colleagues. Very well, I said, and proceeded on to read the email. Having arrived at the shootout scene 10 minutes before the cops, I collected the lost file. The mathematics in it was messy. In short, our mission is to understand the content in this file. That will guide us through the hunt for the other one. This is your destiny, Mr. Taylor. We've trained you. We shall protect you as long as you cooperate and concentrate on the maths. We've trusted you for years. If this is where it begins, then this is where it ends. I confirm that our efforts to interpret the arithmetic in this file, and which we have failed to obtain from the best of our best, ends with you as certainly as I conclude this piece of communication. Good luck, gentlemen. RX50/SH Green. That sign-off activated my chakra. A deep breath that I took activated my third eye, the clairvoyant eye. At the women hostels back at Harvard, Julia Elise curled herself about the sofa in her apartment. She had visited Miss Joyce, an occupational therapist, with whom she had booked an appointment to have her check out a wrist injury she had suffered during one of her martial arts class a fortnight ago. I was there when that happened. In fact, I had scheduled her for therapy with Joyce. That very dawn, something sinister had happened. She had passed by my apartment, just as she had done the previous day. A vacant room and gaping wardrobes had confronted her. She tried my cell without success. She had not been quick to inform the BPD in Boston of my disappearance, though. Not before she tried to reach Dr. Kessler, David Kessler that is, with whom she had slept with twice while I was away in South Africa for surgery on the Mays twins. I had disappeared on her, or so she concluded. Stress and vodka had slipped off the engagement ring I had given her. In company with her were 2 roommates, a party girl from New York and a naive Coach Potato from Dublin who had been so into that schizophrenic pocket monkey friend of mine, Mr. Nelson Frost, but never had sex. I'm thinking, said Professor Gutenberg, snatching at his laptop. Miles looked at me. I stared back, essaying to speak. What? What's the problem, pal? The man was drunk, intoxicated, but had no blabber. I knew him as rather subservient, but not dull.
The conclusion of Howard Green's email marks the end of my today's episode. Please hit the subscribe button below to support the channel. Up until the next episode, goodbye.